Welcome to the Six Figure Influencer podcast. I am so happy you are here, and I am fired up about what we have to talk about today, which is our ability to receive more in our businesses, but also just in life in general. Doesn't have to be limited to our businesses, but I know why you're here. You want to make more money. You want to receive more in terms of your business, as you should. You want more clients and higher level clients and more success and all that comes with that. So we are going to have a big, fat, juicy conversation on my beliefs around what it takes for that to take place. And, more importantly, how I have done this and proven this myself, most recently in the month of June. So as I record this, it is July 2022 and it's early July. And we just wrapped up a pretty gangster month for the business. And I say gangster because who says gangster? I mean, really, yikes. But I say that because it was awesome in terms of revenue. And per usual, I'll tell you all the things. But I pleasantly surprised myself in June in terms of like how I was able to stretch my capacity, not only to receive, but also to hold more of so many things. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And it's going to be a super, super juicy one. It's going to be very actionable. And I'm excited. And one of the things that I'm also very excited to tell you about is this episode's sponsor, which per usual, it's my own thing. So don't worry, I'm not about to throw like a Toyota commercial at you. But this episode is sponsored by something that is going to benefit a lot of you. So if you are a service-based business, if you are a coach or an aspiring coach or mentor, or you offer some sort of service, aka you have control over the type of offers and packages you create and put out into the world, you're going to like this. So I've created something called the 10K in a day Cash Money Baby formula. It is a short and sweet training. When I say short and sweet, it's going to be about 5-ish modules, but delivered over a short amount of time. And then depending on when you're listening to this, it might all be available instantly right now. But it is a training, and it is a training on how you can earn massive sales with micro offers at any time you please. So anytime that you're like, it would be really cool to infuse my business with an extra 10K today or 20K. Like 10K is just the title of the program. This could be 20, this could be 30, this could be 40. I recently just did this with 25,000 in my own business. And I'm going to tell you exactly how I did that. But anytime you have that thought, this program teaches you how to do exactly that. No sales page necessary, no extended big launch necessary or required, no big audience or even list, because it's a micro offer, which is really cool. So we don't need that many people. We just need the right people. No stress in any way, just fun and sales. That's what 10K in a day Cash Money Baby formula is all about. And it is available now. It's either happening live right now, so you can still get in and get the hot seats because we don't start for another couple weeks as I record this, or it is evergreen. So you can just go and get the trainings and learn how to do this instantly. So if you're interested in that, go check out the link in my bio. So anyway, June. What a cool month. So something that I'm really leaning into for myself and that I'm really starting to surrender to and really anchor my belief in is that I am here for a very big purpose. I'm here for many purposes, but one of my purposes is to show other women what's possible, to create a certain level of success for myself to then show you what is also possible and guide one of the ways, right? To be one of the examples of this. And something that like really has always called to me, but now I'm like fully owning it as like my life's mission is this idea of women can have it all. We really can. So there used to be this outdated narrative of like you can't have it all. There has to be some sort of sacrifice. And we would see this and this is still very prevalent, right? There's still a lot of industries and a lot of old paradigms and ways of thinking that it's very convincing that it's either this or that. It's either the career or the family. It's either the success or the relationship. It's either the results or your health and wellness, right? It's, again, it's either or versus both and type vibe. And I have taken this on as my personal mission to show that this can be a both and paradigm if you choose to play into it. It is not lost on me that, and I think it definitely is fair to say that like I am in the perfect industry to create this because I work for myself. I create my own offers. I'm in charge of the amount of money that I pull into my business and my schedule and all of the things. So I already have a certain level of freedom afforded to me that I've created for myself. So I realize a lot of people don't have that type of freedom, because they're in a career where they aren't in control of how often they work and when they can take off and when they can do the things that they need to do for their families or their lives or themselves or whatever. But for my specific purposes and for the women that are aligning to this vibe and, who are also here to grow online businesses and, our own businesses, I'm taking it upon myself to show like, no, we can have it all. If you want to have it all, the full spectrum of your life, whatever that means for you. So your full spectrum is different than my full spectrum, but it is possible if you believe it's possible and if you act in alignment with that and you create it, right? And part of this that I have noticed is part of like the equation in order to make this work is this idea of stretching your capacity for more. Because at some point, like right now, you have a cap. There is a capacity for what you can hold in all things in life. There's a capacity for how many clients you can serve in your business. There's a capacity for how much money you feel comfortable in your bank account. There's a capacity for the level of intimacy and trust that you have in your relationships. There's, like in any area of your life, you have a cap. And not only that, but like as your life as a whole, right? Like if you look at you, like your life, you have this massive umbrella. And under the umbrella are all the facets of your life, right? There's like your business and your partnership and your relationship with your children, your relationship with your friends, and your relationship with yourself and your fun and your travel and like all the facets that are important to you. You also have a cap for how much you can hold a number of these things. So you might feel right now, actually, I can only hold like my most important relationships and my business. And I feel like I am totally capped. Like when it comes to taking care of myself, when it comes to pouring into my own inner work or my own whatever, I can't hold that. I'm already capped with my relationships and with my business. So you have like, there's multi ways or limits to what we can hold right now. But what's so cool and something that I never realized until recently is that all of these capacities get to grow in the same way that we evolve as humans and we are here to grow and evolve as people on the planet. we can also grow and evolve and stretch our capacity to hold more, not in, in each individual facet of our lives, but then again, as like a whole ass human, you can also stretch your capacity for like all that you can hold. So everything gets to grow, is like we sum it up by saying that everything gets to stretch, everything gets to grow. And this is something that if you're not conscious of it, or if you're not aware of this, then it's really easy to fall into the trap of limiting yourself and playing into the paradigm of either or, playing into the paradigm that if I want this, I have to sacrifice that. But it's not ultimately true. You can stretch your capacity at which of what all you can hold. So it's really such a powerful shift and a powerful belief in what you're capable of. And this is something that I've been focused a lot more on lately in both life and in business, because I have a lot that I want to do in life, right? Like, one, I'm very ambitious. If you've listened to this podcast for, any amount of time, you know this, as many of you are as well. I'm very ambitious, and obviously like my family means the world to me. And also like I mean the world to me, and my health and my mental health means the world to me. And also like I want to experience things. I want to have fun. I want to do it all. So if I want to, then I need to be able to hold more. Now, in June, it was really interesting because it really could have gone one of two ways. And I'm so thankful for catching a very limiting thought really early on in June, because I think I wouldn't be here recording this episode today if I hadn't. But end of May or so, when I'm thinking ahead for June, I knew that it was going to be an interesting month, because one of the things that I was doing in June is I was traveling to Tampa to do my first paid speaking engagement at Unconventional, hosted by Colleen Nichols and Direct Sales Growth Community. And this was a really big deal for me because I've never been paid to speak before. I've never spoken on like an actual stage before. The pressure was on, I wanted to obviously deliver and do it justice. So the way that my mind works, I'm a very focused person. So you know how they say women are really good at multitasking and men aren't? I mean, I'm sure like I multitask in a lot of different ways, but when it comes to work stuff, historically, and I'm changing this narrative for myself in real time. But historically, I'm somebody that like I work best when I focus on one thing at a time, like one launch at a time, one podcast at a time, 1 week at a time. Like I don't know. That's just how my brain works. So because of this kind of like old way of thinking, I know that I'm preparing for this speech. I didn't have it memorized. Like obviously in the beginning, so the speech was happening in the beginning of June. I didn't have it memorized, not even a week out. I didn't even know what I was going to talk about until probably 2 weeks prior. So I felt like I knew I had a lot to prepare for. So I was like, okay, the only thing I'm going to focus on for essentially the first half of June is this speech. Like that is priority number one, because it's very important to me that I give it my best and I over deliver, So I was automatically kind of going into, well, okay, so if I'm focused on the speech and the prep of this speech, basically, let's just call it the first half of June, then what am I going to put anything out new, like launch anything new business wise? I just like automatically assumed, okay, June's probably going to be a slower month. if essentially half of it is gone, focused on this thing, and I'm not going to be like actively launching and selling anything until this is over so I can give my pure focus to this speech, then, like naturally, I'm just going to assume this is going to be a slower month. It's not going to be my biggest month. So this is the vibe that I'm going into June with. The vibe of this is going to be slow. This is going to be smaller. No. So luckily, I caught myself, right? I know better. I was like, wait a second. Number one, do I think I could probably focus on more than one thing in the first half of June than just a speech, than like a speech? Like the speech is a big deal. I'm still going to give it my best. But do you think like probably I could focus on more than one thing? Yeah. And by the way, when I say that, like, let me be honest with you. When I say focus on more than one thing, during this time, obviously, like I'm still serving all of my clients, my full mastermind, my private clients. I'm batching podcasts, I'm creating content. So, like, when I say focus on one thing, I'm doing all of my normal business activities and focus on the speech. So, it's not like I'm not doing anything. But what I mean is, like, I'm not creating anything new in terms of offers. I'm not actively selling anything. That's what I mean. So I kind of stopped and I was like, wait, is that what I want to do? No, that's not what I want. I don't want to not sell in the first half of June. That doesn't feel right. And do I really believe that I can't handle selling and preparing for this speech? No, like I don't want to believe that. I'm not going to buy into that. So luckily, I changed the narrative for the month ahead. I caught it, right? I was like, okay, I fully believe, and with some intention, with some serious time management, I can do it. I can do all the things. I can take really good care of my clients. I can take care of myself. I can be there for my family and prepare for the speech. And I'm going to launch something new. So, just with this thought and this shift, it opened my mind to like, it just automatically opened my mind to creative ideas. I was like, okay, so if I were to put something else, like put something out there, what could this be? And I didn't come up with one idea. I came up with two freaking ideas to launch in June. And it made all the sense. It like perfect out. Okay, I'll do this the first 2 weeks. I'll do this the second 2 weeks. And not only that, but I'm actually going to like host one of these in June as well. So anyway, just by shifting this narrative, it opened my mind to like all of these creative solutions of how this could actually work. And it allowed me to outline a plan for myself. So now I'm going into the month with two brand new ideas for offers, which by the way was time collapse and money calibration. Those were my two ideas. And I launched them. I did money calibration first and then time collapse. So I went to the month with this and now like a full strategy of how I'm going to make all of this work. And because of that, I was able to be super intentional with my time, schedule myself accordingly, schedule my clients accordingly. Okay, if I want this all to work, here's how it's all going to work. Long story short, we had an incredible month. Incredible. I launched both offers, time collapse and money calibration. I did, if I say so myself, like I'm just, I'm really proud of what I did in Tampa. I am really, really proud of the speech that I delivered and the way that I delivered it and the way that I prepared for it. I'm really proud of how Tampa went in general, how present I was, how I felt while I was there, the time that I spent there, really, really proud. Everything about June was to me what I would consider a success. Now, money wise, this is what we're looking at. So again, I went into the month thinking like, okay, this might be a slower month. So on average, I generate my business on average generates somewhere between 50 and 60K months. It's going up, okay, which is amazing. Um, so I was thinking like maybe it'll be a 50K month, maybe a little less. So that's how I was going into it. And then we shifted it. It was June. Okay. And then something else happened. So before I give you the recap for the month, something else happened. So all in all, I'm stretching my capacity and more. So this is what I'm being super mindful of. I know that if I want to grow my business, if I want to be able to attract in more revenue, I need to be able to hold and stretch my capacity to hold more in all areas of my business. Okay. So more revenue, more money in my business, more women that I'm working with and that I'm supporting high level in my business means that I need to stretch my capacity for more exposure, more women that I can support, more energy that I can hold, right? Like the more, and these are the things that a lot of people don't think about, right? A lot of us, we think like, okay, I want more money. I want to grow my business from 10K months to 20K months. But what that looks like either you are simply increasing your prices. So you're doing the same of what you're doing now, but you're increasing your prices. So you still need to be able to hold the responsibility and like the vibe of those higher prices. That's one. But in a lot of cases, when we're growing our business, we're growing the clientele, the level of clients, the level of work that we're putting out. If we're increasing our prices, a level of responsibility, like in order to attract in the more of the revenue, the more of the clients, there's a bunch of more that you have to be prepared for, more exposure, more energy that you are expending, more energy that you're holding with your clients, more responsibility with people investing their time and their energy and money into you. In my case, what this looks like is the more that I create and the more that I launch. So if I can stretch my capacity for those things, I am also stretching my capacity at which I'm receiving and calling into my business. Okay. So it is June. We have an incredible month. I deliver the speech. I launched 2 new things. And it was, what day was it? It was June 29th. Okay. So this is the evening of June 29th. We have 1 day left in the month. And I look at PayPal and I see that, like, okay, I have a couple of recurring payments that are coming in the next day. So I'm going to hit 50K again for the month. We've hit, my average, which is fantastic. Super happy. But I had a thought, because like I'm in this vibe, like I'm super aware of like stretching and holding more. And I had this thought of what would it look like? Like, how cool would it be? That was more of the thought. How cool would it be if I could bring in an extra $20,000 to $30,000 before month's end? Like, that was the thought. I'm looking at my PayPal. It's June 29th. We have 1 full day left of the month. And I have the thought, how cool would it be if I could bring in an extra 20 to 30K tomorrow and have possibly my biggest month yet? And in the past, I think my next thought probably would have been, yeah, but there's no way. I'm not launching anything else. Could there be like a high level client wanting to work one-on-one with me and who signs like immediately? Yeah, that could happen. That does happen sometimes. But like, am I going to bank on that? Like, do I fully believe that's going to happen tomorrow? No. Okay. So in a lot of cases in the past, my mindset would be like, wouldn't that be cool? Yeah, but it's only one day left. I have no idea what to plan, what to launch. Uh, I don't want to be disappointed, but I'm thinking differently now, right? I'm stretching myself. So instead of thinking the yeah, but I thought, okay, if I were to do that, if I could bring in 20 to $30,000 in a day, how, like, in what way can I get behind bringing that in? What feels believable? What feels doable to me? So now, because of that thought, I've opened up another portal of creativity in my brain and it gets to work. Well, you could launch this, you could launch that, you could put this out there, you could talk about mastermind, you could talk about working privately with you could, you know, and I come up with these ideas. So, long story short, I look at my calendar and I was like, you know what? I I don't have like too much going on in terms of like one-on-one calls for the next couple months. Like I have my mastermind clients and I have my private clients, but I already know where they're at. I already have them scheduled. So I have space. Like if I really wanted to, I could offer a few one-on-one like month long one-on-one containers, which I never do. I never offer a la carte coaching because typically, like, one, I want to work with you for a specific amount of time so we can get a lot done together. Um, and it's just something like I typically don't have the space for, nor do I have the desire. But I'm looking at my calendar. I'm like, actually, you know what? That could work. Okay. So, what if I offered a handful of one on one spots for the month of July and August, 4 weeks, 5K a pop? Then I would need to sell somewhere between 4 and 6 to pull in an extra 20 to $30,000. Do I think I could get behind that? Do I think I could sell those in one day? $5,000 spots for month long coaching to a handful of women. And my thought was, yeah, actually, it sounds like a banging idea. Not only does that sound awesome, like super valuable, going super deep in 4 weeks with a handful of women on whatever they need in their business. And included in this is like Voxer and access to my programs, you know. Um, but it sounds fun. Like that would be really cool. So here instead of like cutting myself off, like there's only one day and that feels impossible. It's like, okay, what feels fun? Like what's a way I can get behind that also sounds fun? And I think both of those things are important. I can get behind this idea. This feels doable. This feels like something people would move on that would be super valuable for them and sounds fun for me. I actually could get excited about selling this. I'm not just selling this because I want $20,000 extra revenue in my business. I'm not doing that. I've done that before. I'm not doing that again. But like in all ways, I can get behind this idea. So I went about this specific offer backwards in like a backwards way than I usually do. Usually I come up with an idea first. Like, what do I want to teach? What transformation do I want to facilitate? I create the offer around that. And then I set a price point. But in this way, I kind of work backwards. I said, okay, if I was going to bring in this, in what way could I get behind that? That feels fun, that feels super valuable for the person as well. And that's how I came up with what I actually called 30-day slay, which was $5,000 coaching spots for 4 weeks each, 4 one-on-ones, continuous Voxer access, and access to all of my programs for a month. $5,000. it has taken me longer to explain this to you than it did for me to think of this idea and put it on my stories. When I tell you, it was probably a 4-minute span of having the thought, wouldn't it be cool if, to opening my phone, pulling up a cute photo of me at the pool, throwing a filter on it, and then putting on the screen, I'm doing something I haven't done ever before that I'm super excited about. I'm opening a handful of one-on-one private coaching spots, 4 calls, 4 weeks of Voxer, access to my programs. DM me. Within 4 minutes tops, that all transpired. I had a thought, which led to an idea, which led to me executing the idea, like actually launching it out to my audience. No sales page, no overthinking, no stress, no like, I need a link. What if this? What if that? It was just like, nope, yep, I like that idea. That sounds cool. I didn't even have the name yet. I didn't even name it 30 Day Slay yet. I just put out there like what it was. This is what it is. Boom, post. By the next day, the next morning, I had a handful of people that had inquired. So I sat down, I named it 30 Day Slay. I made a cute graphic to go with it. I had Sarah, my assistant, she made me the payment link in Kajabi, $5,000. Very simple. We didn't even make a sales page. It was just a link, a payment link. And I started selling the spots. And within a day and a half, we sold 5 spots. Within a day and a half, I generated 25,000 extra dollars into my business that was not previously planned or strategized for prior to like the 4-minute idea that came to me, you know? So the last day of the month, the last day of June, my business generated $23,000 on June 30th. 15,000 of that was from the new offer, 30 Day Slay. The rest was recurring revenue. And then July 1st, 30 Day Slay generated another $10,000. So $25,000 total. So for the month of June, the month that I originally almost fell into the trap of thinking it had to be a slower, smaller month because I was capping the capacity at which I thought I could hold, we closed the month at over $69,000. Went from 50 to 69, almost 20,000 extra dollars because of an inspired idea. So I would say for the month of June, I successfully stretched myself. I am seeing in real time that just from my intention alone of like, I get to have it all and I can hold it all. And I'm like actively increasing my capacity at which I can hold and what I can support and what I can handle in my life and my business. And because of that, I launched 3 new offers in June while traveling, while giving my first paid speech that I was really proud of, while working with more women than I've probably ever have, while having and maintaining deeper connections with my current clients. So instead of just fishing for new, like I am fully like, I've never had the level of relationships with clients that I have right now with my current clients. I'm taking care of myself. I am 29 weeks pregnant as I record this. So I'm getting my sleep. I'm getting my workouts in. I'm taking care of myself. I'm taking care of my marriage. I'm being present with Cruz. I am successfully stretching my capacity for more. And June is proof of that. And it was this really, really big, like such a celebratory moment for me of like, I'm doing it. Like I say I want it all. I say that like I fully believe I can have it all. And I'm proving it to myself. And that doesn't mean that every single day is easy and every single day I'm like freaking thriving and celebrating over here. Like when you're stretching it, it can feel uncomfortable sometimes. But if you have the intention to stretch, you're going to stretch. If you have the intention to stay where you are, you will stay where you are. Or if you have the intention that you can only hold so much, that is also what you will experience. So I want to offer this idea for you with your own life, with your own business. I know that there's something that you are working toward. There is a next level that you are actively moving toward in some way. That's why you're listening to this. That's why you're investing in programs. That's why you're growing your business for that next level. So if you've never thought of your life and your business, because it's both, it's life and business, it's macro and micro. If you haven't thought about it in this way, if you've only thought about it in terms of, I'm ready for more money, I'm ready for more clients, I'm ready for more engagement or more whatever. If you've only thought about that specific thing, but you've never thought about what else that affects and what else is going to be required of you to be able to hold that thing and not ruin it, to be able to hold the extra revenue and be responsible with it, to be able to hold the extra clientele and not ruin your brand and reputation, to be able to hold that exposure and not allow it to freak you out and break you and make you quit or whatever. It's really such a powerful concept. And I encourage you to try it on for yourself. And I know like as this comes out, we're now in the middle of July. If you're listening to this live, but in what ways do you think that you could stretch yourself and your capacity to hold more moving forward for the rest of the month? In what ways can you, like, what would be so fun for you to call in instead of cutting yourself off right after the idea? How could it possibly work? Instead of stopping yourself, well, that would be too hard, or it would need a miracle, or I'm not ready for that, or that's never happened before. Asking yourself, if it did happen, what would be a really cool way that I could make it happen? Right? Just like shifting the question. If I could get behind this, how would I do it? And then do it. It's a powerful shift. Such a powerful shift. So, food for thought. If you're ready to receive more, start practicing your capacity for holding more. Big picture, your full life, all facets. Where are you limiting yourself? Are you playing and thinking thoughts that are either or can you shift? And are you open to shift to both and? And it might take a little bit of practice. It might take a little bit of like dropping a couple of balls a couple of times before you can hold them all in the air. And that's okay. Like that's how you learn how to juggle, by dropping a lot of balls. That doesn't mean that juggling is bad. It just means that it might take a little bit of practice, but you can do it if you want to. So where in your life are you limiting yourself, or can you shift to both and? And then same thing in your business. It's so crazy to me. Like I used to always limit myself, and it probably wasn't more of a limitation. It probably really was like, that's what I was able to hold at the time. But like I used to think I can only put out one new offer every other month. And then it was every month. And I thought, and really it was more so like, this is just what people do. So that's kind of what I did. It was like, that's what everybody does. But then I started seeing other women that I looked up to putting out upwards of, I kid you not, 20 to 30 plus offers a month, selling something every single day. And it's like, wait, that's an option? Not necessarily that I want to do that, but like, dang, if she can do 30, I can do 3. Right? And what I love about this, like if we're looking at this in terms of business, in terms of like the offers that we're putting out, what's so fun to me about putting out multiple offers a month is you're not putting all of the pressure, you're not putting the weight of your monthly success on one offer. Because okay, well, if only so many people take advantage of this, I'm going to be launching something new next week. And I'm going to be launching something new after that. So it takes that pressure off, and it's also stretching your capacity to serve more people in your audience. So we can't control if an offer is right for somebody. The offer is the offer. You just come up with an idea. But there are lots of people that want to work with you. It's just, is that offer right for them? You can't control if it's too high or too expensive or not. You can't control if it's the right transformation they're actually wanting to invest in or not. You can't control if they're going to be out of town when you're hosting this thing or not. So all you can do is just put out an offer. So if you're just putting out one thing a month, then you're limiting the amount of people that are going to be right for that offer. So I used to think like when I would have crappy launches, I'd be like, dang, it's so easy to make it about you. When in reality, it's just the freaking offer. It's just the offer. So you put out more, these are more potential people that you can serve, and you're stretching yourself. So this is something that has been so fun for me, shifting from like one offer every other month to one offer every month to last month thinking I was just going to do 2 and being like, dang, and then ended up doing 3 offers last month. So now it's like, what else is possible? That was doable. What would 4 look like? Okay. So as a reminder, that last way, there's lots of ways to stretch yourself and in terms of like revenue and offers and launching, lots of different ways to do that. How I did it that last day is what I call a micro offer. So a micro offer is an offer that is typically higher priced for a smaller amount of people. So micro offer, massive results, right? I put an offer out that was only available for 4 to 6 people, but generated $25,000 in my business. Micro offer, massive results. So what this requires, I have learned because I've done this several times in my business, not as strategic, but I've done this a few different times. And now I can see, okay, here for this to work, for this actually to work and actually to sell, we need a few things. We need obviously an idea that you can get behind and something that's going to be juicy for an audience. We need proper execution of the launch. Even though I didn't have a sales page, I didn't have all the fanfare and drama behind that would be behind a standard launch. There was still an execution, still a strategy to the launch that made it successful. And then probably most important was the energy behind it. The energy of this feels fun. I believe in this offer. I know this is going to be so freaking valuable for the women that get their hands on this. And I believe it's going to sell. Like finding that sweet spot of an offer, for me, it's taken some practice and we nailed it. Okay. So if you are thinking like, I want to do this in my business, but I don't know the proper execution. I don't really know how to do this. I can't think of any ideas, but I want to do this myself. Then 10K in a day formula, that program that I talked about at the top of the episode, this is for you. This is why I made this program, 10K in a day, cash money baby formula. That is what it's all about. Launching micro offers for massive results for service-based businesses. So if that sounds interesting to you, go look at the link in the bio or DM me on Instagram and we'll talk about it. I am more than happy to tell you, hey, this is not a good fit. I told like 7 people that this week. So always will be honest with you. Trust me, I don't want you in a program that's a bad fit as much as you don't want to be in a program that's a bad fit. Trust and believe. So anyway, that is all that I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. I would love to hear if you had any aha moments or like ways that maybe you caught yourself limiting yourself or thinking that it had to be either or, but you're going to start practicing shifting into the both and type vibe. Let me know. I would love to hear. DM me on Instagram. I want to talk to you. But anyway, thanks for hanging out with me. I love you, and I will see you next week. Bye.